Hi everybody, welcome to another midwinter video. Again, wintertime's a great time to fix up things in your boat, and most of us have a lot of money invested in our graphs, as I do. I've got, my setup is a Humminbird Helix 15, and I only use this for my Mega 360. I think that Mega 360 is a great tool, and I want to have the biggest screen possible. Over here I've got a Solix 12, and I use that for my Mega Live. And then I've got another Solix 12 over here that I use just for down imagings and in 2D. So I've got a lot of money invested, and I'm sure you do too, in the graphs in your boat. And so this video is about how to protect these with a lock. Now, I did quite a bit of searching on the internet, and I only found two companies that have locks. Probably the most common one that you've probably heard of is called Duralock. They're a lock that's about 2 inches long. They're red, they're cylindrical, and you put them on each side. Now my problem is I've got these two graphs, and if I measure the distance between the two on the inside, and I'm sure you're not going to be able to see this, but just trust me, it's about 5.5 inches from graph to graph. And those Duralocks are each 2 inches. So you're probably thinking, well, that gives me plenty of room. But you've got to be able to put a key in there to unlock it. So between those two that each would be 2 inches long, and then the key, which is an additional inch, I don't have much wiggle room. And I decided I'm not going to invest that much money in locking systems for all three of these if there's a chance that this, especially this one, these two right here, are not going to reach. So I discovered a new company. I think it's a new company. I don't know much about them. I'm not affiliated with them, but that's called Graph Locks is the company. I'll show you this up close. And the lock itself is called BoatEFX, and I believe it's pronounced BoatEFX is what they're calling this. Now they do have some other products. I don't know much about their other products, but I'm going to unbox this and show you how this lock works, and it's going to have a lot more clearance, a lot more room. Okay, so for this install, all you're going to need is a hammer. Yes, I said hammer. Sounds dangerous, but it won't come anywhere near my graph. A Phillips head screwdriver. You're gonna need, well, I'm gonna do this right in the boat, so I want a board to protect the decking, because I do have to do a little bit of hammering. And then what's in this box. So I'm gonna open this box up and show you what you get. Now, just so you know, whether you're ordering the BoatEFX lock or the Duralock, the prices you're gonna see are based on one lock. But you're gonna need to get two locks, one for each side. I really don't know why they don't just sell them in pairs, but I suppose if you need to replace one, they do it in singles. So I ordered the two, so I've got two locks in here. So in this box, I get the directions. Now, probably the most important thing about these directions, and you probably either want to keep this on your phone or keep this in your boat, but the key code is right here. And it tells you what the code is for your lock. If you order these in a set, and I ordered 3 boxes because I have 3 graphs, they all came keyed alike. So I've got one key that'll work for all the locks, and that's huge. That's important. You don't want to have to be fumbling through a whole bunch of keys to unlock your locks. And I do know that Duralock does the same thing. You just need to notify them that you want the same key number. Okay, so you get your directions. In it, you get your locks, and this is what the lock looks like. There you go. So it's pretty sleek, pretty small. It looks like it's machined very, very nicely. So I got 2 of those. And then in it, I also get a bag with the keys. And then there's a bag with a bunch of plastic washers, a bunch of screws, and I'll talk about the screws in a second, and then a thing they call the spring pin, and I'll talk about that in a second as well. I also have a second bag, and in it are some other screws and washers. So basically, if you have Humminbird, you're going to use one of these types of screws. If you have Garmin or Lowrance, you're going to use a different type of screw. Okay, so the next step is to take off this knob that's holding the graph in. And what you're going to do is check each and every one of these screws. Again, it comes with 3 of them. And this first one, if I just start putting it with my fingers, and I would not do this with the screwdriver, just start to hand tighten, it starts to go in, but then it gets really tight right away. And I could force that with a screwdriver, but if you do that, you're going to risk stripping either the screw or, worse yet, the inside housing of your graph. So I'm going to try the second one. This one also starts to go in, and then about 3 rotations in, it starts to get very tough. So I know that's the wrong one. And then lastly, and I put this washer on so I'd remember, try the third one, and this is the one for the Humminbird. And as I screw it in, it just keeps going, and I can tell that's the one that fits. So it's very important that you use the right screw. Okay, next, once you have the screw determined, you're going to take your lock, and you're going to unlock the little lock here. And there's a groove in the key. It's just a cylindrical, I don't know, again, hard to see. So there's a little groove, and you just match it up, so pretty simple. And when you do, you just simply turn this, and the whole front will just slide off like that. So I've got 2 pieces. So I've got one piece that's the front with the locking mechanism, and it's this back side that you need to determine and mount into the graph itself. Now on the back side, again, see if that can focus, there's a set of holes here. And the 2 inner holes, the right and left one, are for the Garmin and Lowrance, and then the 2 outer holes are for the Humminbird. And so based on the setup that I have to determine, do I need to use the right one or the left one? And I'll show you how that works right now. Okay, so I've got a flashlight on here because again, I'm in my garage in the wintertime, and you can see that the open portion of this goes this direction. Depending on which way you have this mounted, yours might face the other way. And so with this, you can kind of see those holes there. Again, I'm going to use the far right or left one, and I'm just going to hold this up. And obviously if I try to put it in the left one, this side, it's going to run into this part of the brace of the mount. So I need to use the right one. So as I turn this around, I'm looking at the back side. Okay, so now it's going to be the hole that's on my left. So this hole where my thumb is. Again, if I turn it around, it would be on the right side. So that's where I want to put in the pin. Okay, so now I've got this little bitty pin. It's probably no more than 3/8 of an inch. It's very small, and it's going to go in that hole. So what I'm going to do is start tapping it in, and it doesn't matter which side they look identical. So I just give it a little tap. I'll do this so hopefully you guys can see. All right, I'm going to leave it right about there. Hopefully you can see that. That's about how much I have hanging out. If I need to pound it in further, I will. But as I put it up against the graph, in the bag there also is a black nylon washer, and that's going to go on the back side of the locking mechanism. So that's what will actually be touching the bracket. So you need the white plastic on the inside where the head of the screw is, and then the black one on this other side. All right, so I've got it screwed in, but I can tell right now that this is loose and I'm gonna need another washer. All right, so all I have to do is simply put in the second washer. I had quite a bit of wiggle room, so this should take care of it. And now I just thread it back in again. Now, once you get this figured out for your first bracket, then you'll know exactly which screw to use for the future installation and how many washers to use. And you'll know which hole to put that pin in. And there we go. So now we've got it tight. Okay, so after my first fitting, this little pin, try to show you the pin here. There you go, you should be able to see it. That little pin came up short because I had the two washers in there. So what I'm gonna have to do is pull that out a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just gonna take some pliers and give it a little pull. Again, the first one is gonna be the hardest one. Once you get that all set, you should be good. So basically for my fitting on my graph, I barely want this even in there. So now I'll just put it on again, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about with this once I get this partially installed. Okay, so that pin is right in here. So that pin is right where my finger was. I'm going to move this flashlight around a little bit so you can hopefully, there you go, you should be able to see it pretty easily. And that's what I'm talking about. And then as far as tightening this in, you don't want to over tighten it because you could strip out some of the threads, but you want to, it's pretty darn snug. You don't want any movement in this. Okay, so that's basically it. The last thing to do is just put the cover on with the lock. And if you look, it's like a dovetail design in here. And you just need to line that up and slide it into place. And then you pull the key out, and there's a little button that you need to push. Once that's pushed, it's locked. And there's no getting this thing off. It's really heavy duty. It's not obtrusive, so it's not going to stand out on your boat. So I think they're a good locking mechanism. Again, there's only two of these that I know of, and the Duralock just wasn't going to work especially on the inside of these other two. And I wanted to have all the same locks with all the same keys. So hopefully you got something out of this. And again, if you want to protect your graphs, you want to lock them. Thanks for watching.